Welcome everybody to my Wrestlepalooza review. Sorry I'm a little bit late on this one. I've actually been struggling a lot with copyright, but that's a separate issue. I think it's finally going to be coming out now. A bit late, but I still need to comment on it. I think overall, Wrestlepalooza, the worst event of the year. I think it is a very disappointing event, and there are so many reasons for this. ESPN was riddled with ads, like it was a SmackDown. Please, don't force feed us with more ads when you are trying to charge everybody more money. You don't need to do that, WWE. Ticket prices are already way too much. Why riddle ESPN with ads for a pay-per-view they've had to pay so much more for? Doesn't make sense to me. Anyway, the show had a huge notion that it would be jam-packed with surprises. I don't think I could even name one. There is definitely stuff to like, but it had a very bad ending and a bad start. Had two good matches with one phenomenal match, but that does not make the event as that good. Sadly, I think the tone of the event with its bad start made the crowd very dull, and then that did make the best match of the night, sadly, not as good as it could have been because the crowd just wasn't as hyped. They'd come off the back of such a bad start. I think, with all its problems, I think it barely hits a B tier. With definite stuff to like, which I recommend checking out the specific matches, but I really don't think you need to go watch the whole show. I think I'm going to talk about John Cena versus Brock Lesnar. The intro of Paul Heyman announcing, that was the only good bit of that whole match. We did not want to see Cena get dog walked on his retirement tour. This is not 2014 SummerSlam, alright? It was an underwhelming match, and it made the crowd dead for the whole show. Disappointing, and I don't want to see John Cena and Brock run it back, and they most likely will. Anyway, that's the end of that one. Usos versus Bronson Reed. I think this one had lots of potential, and it's not overall a bad match, but I was very disappointed when comparing it to what it had a chance to become. Probably lots of lost cred due to people being upset about the opener. There was a very decent amount of spots that I enjoyed, lots of blood, even accidental, but lots of blood. When Jay hit himself in the head with a chair and then bled out, that was a bit funny. But I do think there was plenty of decent spots and it was a solid match, but it just wasn't what it could have been with the Usos' return. Here, we have the match of the night, maybe here. I need to let it settle a little bit, I'm not very sure, but we've got Stephanie versus Io Sky. It was amazing. It brought some hope back into the night. I was like, oh my god, this night might end with a fucking phenomenal ending because the Cody Drew match had such a chance. But yeah, anyway, they delivered a technical masterpiece. The women's division in WWE is the best women's division in all of wrestling. Maybe even better than the men's in so many senses in WWE right now. This match had very high expectations and they delivered on it. It was a masterpiece. Crowds was a little wank. They made the atmosphere better despite a dead crowd. And I love the fact it was a clean match with no shenanigans. Next is Punk and AJ versus Seth and Becky. Another good match to go off the back of the phenomenal one before, but I think this match should have main evented. I thought this match was very good, but the main event was lackluster. I'll get to that. Very good finish with AJ tapping Becky. AJ Lee needs to be the next Intercontinental champ, you know? Let's go for it, man. But yeah, another good match, but based on comparing all the matches, this should have definitely been the main event. Next, we get Stephanie McMahon inducted into the 2026 Hall of Fame. She seemed genuinely shocked, and it was so amazing to see with Undertaker doing it as well. There is an argument that someone else deserving, you know, the opening 2026 slot, but oh yeah, Triple H's wife. But I don't think it is that. I'm just happy for her. She would have been a Hall of Famer anyway. She's done so much for the company, and it was a really nice moment. Next is the main event. Cody Rhodes versus Drew McIntyre. This was not a bad match technically. It was a very good match. But the result of this match, with no surprises, no layups, no Randy, that made it so disappointing. There's also rumours the original plan was Cody wanted Drew to go over at the cost of Randy. I don't understand. This should not have main evented. Very disappointing ending. I like Cody, don't get me wrong, but there could have been such a better story creating that rivalry against Randy Orton. But you know, WWE didn't want to pull the trigger yet. They're probably saving it for Mania. That's fine. Overall, though, I don't think there was surprises, and it wasn't this show that would live up to something like Mania. There wasn't even, you know, a layup for Stephanie versus someone else. There wasn't a layup for John Cena's next opponent. You know, it was just a bit... Because if John had won at the start, this event wouldn't have been disappointing because you would have had a good crowd for Usos Reed, good crowd, better crowd for Stephanie Io, and then the main event may have only been the bad thing. Don't forget, there was a bad main event in Mania. Doesn't mean Mania was bad, but because there was a bad start and a bad end, it's a very disappointing event. ESPN riddling it with ads and stuff. It was just a bit disappointing. So yeah, that's my review on Wrestlepalooza. Just tell me what you guys thought. Bye bye.